This is going to be our 44th, actually, annual San Francisco Bay Area Day of Remembrance. And it's going to be held on February 19th, 2023, which happens to be the 81st anniversary, actually, the signing of Executive Order 9066. This is going to be our first DOR in person at the Christ United Presbyterian Church in Japantown. We've had 2 virtual DORs since the pandemic started. We need to kind of go back to a more intimate grassroots program. And in fact, early DORs were in fact held at CUPSI. So in that regard, this is kind of a homecoming for us. We're going to have Don Tamaki be our keynote speaker. Of course, Don played an integral role in the Coram Nobis case to overturn the Fred Korematsu conviction during the wartime situation there. He's going to be talking about his service on the reparations task force and its relevance to Japanese Americans today. On top of that, he's also the recipient of this year's Dr. Clifford I. Umeda Peace and Humanitarian Award. Also, we have the candle lighting ceremony, which is, of course, the highlight of DOR. And this year, we're going to be honoring our Nisei generation. Yeah, I think one important aspect that we've been missing in the past 2 years with the virtual DORs is, people actually seeing each other and greeting each other. I think community, of course, is a big part of DOR. I think we've been kind of missing that for the last couple of years due to the pandemic. And the most important thing about DOR is the fact that we do come together as a community to remember what happened to us, to our community, and honor, those Issei and Nisei pioneers who basically had to suffer injustice. They're incarcerated and they're basically taken from their homes and incarcerated in camps. So it really is a tragedy that really we need to remember, and we need to make sure that it never happens again. And we need to be vigilant to make sure that we don't succumb to those forces of hate and separateness that brought on the internment of our community, the imprisonment essentially of our community. So I think that those are big takeaways that we want people to understand with DOR.
This year we have a speaker from the Amamutsun tribal band, the chairman, Valentin Lopez. They are struggling to preserve their sacred lands from mining operations, and we recognize that as part of reparative justice. We also have 2 remembrance speakers, former incarcerees or children in the camps. So this explores the results of incarceration on children. We have a very exciting performance by San Jose Taiko. They're going to combine their taiko music with rap and spoken word. Well, what I hope that people come away with is an education about the struggle of the indigenous peoples of the region. Also, I hope that they come away with what is reparative justice. It's the same root word as reparations. Reparative justice for Japanese Americans means that they were heard at the commission hearings of 1980. They campaigned for redress and reparations throughout the 1980s and early 90s, and finally saw the 1988 Civil Liberties Act signed into law. Reparative justice also means to prevent future harm, to repair or correct the harm that was already done. And it could be a symbolic gesture such as changing the name of a school or taking down statues. It prevents future harm from taking place. It has been corrected.
Our event is going to be held on Saturday, March the 11th from 1 to 3. This year's program, we're going to focus on really celebrating the reopening of the permanent exhibit called Uprooted, An American Story. And the exhibit has been in place for, say, almost 15 years, but it's being refreshed. And we're just so excited for what it's going to be entailed. This will be the first time the public will have an opportunity to see it. And following the program, we will have timed entrances where people can go through and look at the exhibit. Go to nctor.org, and there you'll find just how to register, how you might want to donate to support our program, because not only do we do this community event, we reach out to the local schools, and we have more than 5,000 young people who are usually fifth graders who come and get to go through the exhibit. One of the things we learned definitely from being incarcerated in that period is that we didn't have a voice. And so what we're trying to do for people who come to the exhibit, not only ourselves and the students we educate, to use their voice to support others that are being targeted for any kind of thing. So we need to continue to do that. So your registration will help support those programs.